So I might have found the perfect combination for Champions of Krynn and the whole trilogy. So the party I came upon was something I came up by just trying to fit everything. So I tried different parties, and I did not continue the Let's Play for Dark Queen of Krynn, but I still like to play this game on my own because there is no pressure for time. So I can be more relaxed. So the party I'm proposing to you today is one knight, which is mandatory in any of the Krynn games, because if you start from Champions of Krynn, you will get a special quest if you have a knight in your party, and also the knight is better than a cleric, basically, later on down the series. So you have a knight. Now, the second character and the third character, meaning your front line, they're going to be cleric rangers. Now, why is this combination something I want to do? First of all, I want a Magyar cleric for turning undeads, but I don't want a pure cleric. Although a pure cleric is gonna rise in level really fast, and it's gonna be very much capped by the midpoint in any game, a cleric ranger allows me to have more utility. Meaning, not only I get access to first, second level druid spells and mage spells as a ranger, I also get access to multiple attacks. I also get access to a lot of hit points, and also damage against giants. And giant creatures, especially in Dark Queen of Krynn, are, the prevalent type of enemy you will face with dragons, beholders, all those big creatures. So the first is a Cleric of Goodness, which is a horrible class. Cleric of Good, they have nothing going on for them. There's a very small difference in the spell slot. One favors late game spells, the one favor early game spells, but it's not much like mages. It's it's very minute, and I do not really recommend having a good cleric unless you're trying to turn undeads, which is maybe situational, but in the second game you will, and in the first game you will need that. It's gonna spare you a lot of trouble. Some undeads cannot be turned, like skeletal warriors, for instance, because they have no they are not like created in the same manner as the other undeads, so you cannot turn them. But a Magyar cleric, I think it's a mainstay if you want to pull your party through the trilogy. If you are not, and you're starting, say, in Dark Queen, you may skip the Magyar cleric and get another cleric of neutrality. Now, the cleric of neutrality, the next party member, which is going to be another frontliner, is going to have less hit points. It's going to be the lowest hit point class now. But that's just because a cleric of good starts with 2d8 of HPs, while a cleric of neutrality starts with 1d8 HP. So you get that less HP per level, but you get one extra hit dice because the cleric of good stops at level 8 getting hit dice, the cleric of neutrality at level 9, so they even out in the end. Ashinare Cleric Ranger, this is the only game, by the way, you are able to create a Cleric of Neutrality. So I suggest and I recommend strongly that you do this, create this party in Champions of Krynn. Because if you try to do this combo in Dark Queen of Krynn, you cannot choose Shinare. Shinare is a Cleric of Neutrality. So we can have a Cleric that gets access to spells earlier. That means that you would get access to restorations 3 levels before your Cleric of Goodness can. And that is very important. Also, at level 2, you get access to Whole Person. So, meaning after a couple of missions, you already have Whole Person. Maybe after the first couple of battles in Throttle, you have access to Whole Person, which is what you are actually required. Because you need all the crowd control you can get. Same reasoning applies for this character as the other ranger cleric. So Elven only have 1 life. If they die, they're dead. And this part is made of all Elven people except the knight. Now, You could go with the other races, but that's not the point of this party. Also, if you die, you have to reload anyways, because you lose permanently 1 point of constitution and you are not gonna get it back. So you have access to Bless and Cure Light Wounds on these two characters, which is great. Now, third character is now we're going for the backline. The backline is made by elves. The first one is a fighter red mage. As you can see, I made her a female. You can make this guy a male if you prefer. I don't mind the 16 strength because of a large, and also because being the backline, they're going to be using bows, and bows don't care about strength. Now, if you want, you can go with a male elf and get 1875 strength. But keep in mind that you will be enlarged most likely. Also, why not a fighter red mage cleric? That's simple because with a triple class, you get the most powerful combination in the game, which is like if you make 3 knights and 3 fighter mage clerics, you're pretty much set for the rest of your life. Except you have to grind a lot because the triple class combo that requires a lot of grinding. So the dual class is much better to flow with the game. One class is gonna get you capped real quick. With two classes, you can do a good amount of leveling. So fighter red mage is gonna be the red mage, obviously. As you can see, the taco is very good. He's a fighter, and if you give him a longsword, you can see he gets one. She gets one more taco. So instead of 18, she has 17. We have another elf here, female fighter red mage thief. Now this is the thief of the group. As you can see, very nice amount of hit points. These characters have just been created, so they're out of the box. I just bought them some equipment. Fighter red mage thief, the point of this character is to be throwing fireballs, of course, but also buff and go into combat if needed to do backstabbing. Backstabbing is very important. I do not recommend you get a Kender Cleric thief because they only get one attack. So with this combo, you get to cast red mage spells, very important for self-buffing, and you also get multiple attacks with the fighter. And with the thief, you can multiply your damage by backstabbing. This is going to be less relevant in Dark Queen of Krynn because, well, big creatures cannot be sneak attacked. So the thief is kinda useless in Dark Queen of Krynn unless you're fighting one square units. So, but this is a very important unit to have. Why not a fighter thief and why make this a triple class? Well, if you make a fighter thief, basically what happens is that you only have 2 mages, first of all, and second of all, by the time you reach the third game, you are left with basically a crippled fighter because the thieves level are just useless. They give you nothing. And you have no spells. So you are just a fighter. At that point, you are basically useless. I mean, you're not useless, but you could be used in better ways. You also have less hit points than a pure fighter. That's also another problem because this party being all elves, if they die, they're dead. So maybe a fireball will cripple them. Maybe Dragos breathing down their neck is gonna cripple them. But with this combo, at least you can pull through. You have mirror image, you got blinking, you got fire touch, you got all those nice spells that Red Mage gets. And hopefully the 19 dex is going to help you with initiative. Of course, these characters have maxed out stats. If you want to play the griefing game and reroll manually, feel free to do so. And lastly, we have the Fighter White Mage. This is a dual class. 27 hit points, 17 taco. All females. The backline is all females, the frontline is all males. That's how I structure my party. Usually. Okay, so why the White Mage? Now, White Mage requires a lot of experience in the early game, but as you go past the 8th level or 9th level, you will need less experience than a Red Mage, I think. Because you need a fixed amount of experience. I think the White Mage is less. Doesn't really matter because a White Mage is a good choice to go like a Cleric of Goodness, go pure class, because they require a lot of more experience than the neutral counterpart, but you know, they get a slow access to spells. Not the White Mage though. The white mage just need a bunch of experience. So fighter white mage is still gonna be good because not only I can keep up with the HP, rather than having a pure white mage, I have a fighter. Now we're probably gonna end up like 90 HPs in Dark Queen of Krynn, which is still not enough to sustain the 100 points of damage from a dragon breath, but it's better than nothing. And it brings us closer to unconscious range, because that's minus 10 HP. So what you're gonna do with this guy is same thing with the red mage. You cast Lead Blast Fireball, you cast Fireball, you cast all those enlarges. So you have 3 mages. They will eventually all have 6 enlarge each, or 5. I think it's 5. Whatever. You get a bunch of enlarge, which basically makes it very good in the later episodes, as you need to rest less. So as you can see, we have no Kanders, no dwarves, no half elves. Basically only 1 human and 5 elves. That is because the game is leaning towards those classes, those races, and classes combo. So with this party, you get a fair amount of healing. Now you might think, oh, you only have 2 healers though. Well, that's not true, because the knight also get access to healing and is actually gonna be much better than a cleric, or as good as a cleric, plus a bucket load of HPs, multiple attacks, and whatnot. So effectively, after you get past a certain point, you will get 3 healers and 3 casters. That's a very balanced party. You get 1 thief for, maybe some extra pick locking, traps disabling, and backstabbing. You can easily kill 1 square bosses with this, because the thief is very good at that. But I think this is one of the most balanced party you can think of if you don't want to grind needlessly and you want a very good party. Look at the HPs. They're very evenly distributed: 28, 28, 23, 27, 26, and 27. So I think this is a good party to take into the game if you are starting out and you don't want to get griefed a lot. Also, very important, dexterity determines the initiative of your characters. So having 19 dexterity is gonna get you like the first strike in most battles, if you're lucky, obviously, as always. You're throwing a dice, so you can always get screwed. But having that extra oomph that tips the dice in your favor is always needed. So I think I will play around with this combo, see how it works, but I think it's gonna work very well. There's a lot of sleeps. We have 12 sleeps in this character, with these characters, as you can see. If we go to the inn, okay, we can do magic and cast. We have 4 sleeps here, 4 sleeps here, 4 sleeps here. So staying power is very important in the gold box games, because every time you have to rest, you have a chance of getting interrupted by enemies. And you also have to fight without buffs, meaning that if I run out of spells to cast, I have to sleep. When I sleep, my enlarge is gonna wear off, my protection, my resist fire is gonna wear off, everything is gonna wear off. So the enemy attacks me. Now I have units without 22 strength and or 23 strength, I don't remember, and it's gonna be a slog. And also while I'm sleeping, I'm taking more damage. So if I get a streak of interruptions, basically I get frustrated, then I rage quit, and then I have to reload the game. But with 12 sleeps, we can basically complete the entire first floor of Throttle, minus the temple, in one single go. Of course, we're gonna have to backtrack to level up characters, but you can do that if you wanted in one go with 12 sleeps, because you're probably gonna use 2 per battle. So you get to do 6 battles before you actually have to rest. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 battles that you have to fight. But you only need to use 1 sleep spell in one of those battles. And even in the other, because there is just 1 human. So it's just say 6. That's good. That is good because you have enough sleep to do that, as you can see. As for the clerics, sorry, where is that? You get silence on the Majer cleric, 1 bless and 2 cure light wounds. And for the other guy, you get charm person, 1 bless and 3 cure light wounds. So that's about it. Thank you for watching. I hope these guides help you. I know it's not much of a roleplay guide, but these games were not really made to be role played. The more you play them, the more you realize you don't have to role play those games. Now you can have a Kender, and I've completed the game with a Kender. Not in the latest series on Champions difficulty, but on the previous series and also on the other channel. The previous series, I also completed the Dark Queen of Krynn and Death Knight of Krynn with a Kender and a Dwarf. So you can totally do whatever you want. But again, it's all about the frustration you are willing to put up with. So I hope this party is going to be very useful to you, and you're gonna have fun with it. You don't have to suffer in these games. Just pick the easy way out. Sometimes it's better. So just try with this party. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.